Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Tansei. Okay, bonjour everybody. I am very, very happy to be back in town. It is Fabulous Tuesday, so Tuesday teachings, yay! My name is Chantal. I am Cree, Anishinaabe, and Métis from Muskeg Lake Cree Nation, which is in Saskatchewan in Treaty 6 territory. And I just learned that we have a food forest on our reserve now, and that's pretty exciting. Something I've really been advocating for in cities. I think that would be amazing so that people would be taken care of. And how awesome would it be just to like walk down the street and be like, I'm hungry. Oh, hey, look, a peach. Oh, yum. So, well, maybe not peaches. I'm not a fan of peach. But I think that's something that really could change the way that we look at community. And so I think that's really important. But with Tuesday teachings, I always like to acknowledge the land upon which we stand. And it's really important to just figure out what territory you're in. There's a lot of people who don't actually know what territory they're in. They're not in those circles of people who actually talk about land acknowledgements or understanding where we are, that sense of place, but also recognizing that privilege and, that being on this land is a privilege. Being in Turtle Island is a privilege. And so it's important to just acknowledge where you are and that history of that land and the families that have been here for time immemorial. And so I always love to acknowledge where I am, which is Mohkinstsis in Calgary. That's Treaty 7 territory. So I honor the Blackfoot of Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani, the Sarsi Dene from Tsuut'ina, and the Stoney Nakoda from Morley, which includes Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. We're also walking in the footsteps of Métis Region 3, which is why I proudly wear my Métis sash. This one I actually received from a Blackfoot elder, but I'm very thankful for it because it reminds me of that bridge between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, but it's really about that bridge of understanding and how we can come together and really learn from each other and grow together and build community in a meaningful way. And this is really what I hope to do with my Tuesday teachings. And so to welcome everyone into the circle today, I always love to share the Cree welcome song, and when I sing this song I feel like I'm calling in ancestors. And today we were outside and I got to sing this song in front of some firefighters and police officers and for this beautiful orange ribbon dedication ceremony for, of course, the upcoming Truth and Reconciliation Day, which is September 30th. But it was a good first step. I think the orange ribbon can be symbolic, but if you don't follow up with that symbol, then you really miss a lot. And so when I sang this song, though, to call in the ancestors, we felt full. Even though we were outside and it was really windy, anytime I sing this song, I feel like it carries. And I'm so thankful and humbled to be able to share this song in a meaningful way, because it really does welcome everyone into the circle, welcoming in everybody's ancestors. But also it just acknowledges that we're all together in the circle. It teaches us to really learn from each other and grow together and build community. And not judge each other, because I find, especially with political campaigns, there's so much divisiveness, and we forget that we're all in this together. You can't build community with divisions, and so you need to be able to put your differences aside and come together and actually make the change that's going to be beneficial for our future generations. And so Miasin, which is the Cree welcome song, is from the Natahau family from Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation, and they are from Saskatchewan. Actually, they're on the border of Saskatchewan and Alberta. So I'm very thankful to be able to share this song and honor that family, because again, for so many generations we weren't able to sing these songs or share these stories or practice our culture or even smudge or even wear regalia. And so it's a gift to be in these times where we're reclaiming that cultural piece and we're able to share it. But it's also really important that we acknowledge the difference between appropriation and appreciation. And truly this song welcomes everyone into the circle to learn and to grow together. And so Miasin, which is the Cree welcome song, it doesn't just mean welcome, it also means beautiful. And I'm going to move my lovely chair out of the way to sing. Miasin, Miasin, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epitaku. Niwagomagan Hota Homa Kitaskino Miyasen Miyasen Hasemina Hasemina Epetakote Niwagomagan Hota Homa Kitaskino Miyasen Miyasen Hasemina Hasemina Epentakote Niwagomagan Hota Homa Kitaskino. Hi, hi, and welcome to the circle tonight, everyone. So that song I do sing in rounds of 3, and that is to keep the circle open and welcoming so everyone completes the circle today. Again, because in the circle we're all connected. There's no beginning, there's no end, and it's important to recognize that in community, that no one is higher or lower than anyone else. We're all in this community, we're all in the circle together, and so it's not about hierarchies, it's about connection. And I, of course, laid all my smudge stuff out because I'm going to smudge today. When I share my teachings, these are just teachings that I carry, and so your teachings might be a little bit different. I was at a ceremony for the last 4 days, and some of my teachings are slightly different than the elder that I was with, and that's okay. Again, not right or wrong, just different. You find what works for you in your life, what makes sense, and what has meaning for you, and that's what you carry forward. As long as you're not trying to force your beliefs on anyone else, you're good to go, or telling somebody that they're wrong, because they're not. It's just different, and that's okay. It's important because we need those differences to be able to have a thriving and connected world. And so my teachings, OG Cree, I have, oh, that smells so good. I was just gifted this. It smells amazing. Sweetgrass in the east for our mind and for our childhood and for the spring. The power of fire and grandfather sun in the south. Oh, I just gifted this too. Smells really good. This is cedar. Cedar is our connection to the summertime, our connection to our physical body, our connection to the physical earth and the plants and the animals and all our relations. But it really brings in that physical healing that we need and that grounding that we need. Teaches us to honor that transition time as well between childhood to adulthood. And then we have sage. I'm going to have to go sage picking soon because my pickings are getting slim. But sage is considered, it's in the West, it's considered the women's medicine. The season there is fall, so we're right in the thick of it right now. It honors Grandmother Moon, who has been big and beautiful and in abundance. I was so blessed to be in the mountains, sitting in ceremony, and just every night, the moon just illuminated everything. I didn't even need a headlamp as long as I wasn't in the shadow of the trees. And so it was such a gift to be able to be there and to be able to do moon ceremony and just to connect. And then, of course, on the last night when I broke my fast, I got my moon time. So I just love how our bodies work. And it's just like it was preparing to get rid of everything on that final day. And so sage being the women's medicine, you can use it at any given time. Again, that's just my teachings. So if in your teachings, when a woman's on her moon time, she can't smudge, then observe that. But with me, as long as it's sage, it's fine. Because it is the women's medicine. It's connected to water, it's connected to our emotions, our heart medicine. And I'm just doing a quick bundle here. Oops. Because there's a couple little pieces. And this is what I'll be smudging with today. Oh, it smells amazing. And this is the Blackfoot roll. So this is the Cree Crunch, the Blackfoot roll. And then the last one here, we have Mother Earth tobacco. So tobacco is that spirit medicine. It's our connection to the winter, to our elderly years. Just because you're old doesn't make you an elder. And also this is Kennebec or Kinsessa, also known as red willow bark. Red willow is that other spirit medicine that we use as well in ceremony. So, oh, excuse me. There's no right or wrong way to smudge. It's whatever feels good to you. But I like to take off my jewelry because anything that is metal usually holds energy. And oftentimes when you're smudging, it's to get rid of stuff, not to hang on to stuff. And so I'm going to smudge today. Actually, I had somebody ask me about the teachings that I actually share online. So this is just scratching the surface. And so this is why it's important to sit in ceremony, and it's important to learn from different elders and knowledge keepers, because this is just kind of like an overview. Whereas if you want to go deeper, that's where those connections and those relationships and those protocols come in. And so I love to share just to be able to welcome everybody in and to teach those songs. And even if I'm sharing those songs over and over and over again, some of the songs, they will finally sit with you and you'll be like, oh, okay, now I can carry it forward. But also I'll be sharing more women's songs and children's songs just because there are quite a few dates coming up. Of course, TRC, Truth and Reconciliation Day, which is the 30th Orange Shirt Day, which is my lovely orange shirt. But also October 4th is Sisters in Spirit. And whenever we're leading the marches, I always invite people to sing. This is why it's awesome to be able to share in this format, so you can watch it back and you can slowly learn those songs. And then when we're marching, you can sing. And so it's a gift. Don't worry if you're not the best singer. It's just really about raising our voices together as a community. And I always bring drums, so if you need a drum to borrow at those events, they're usually there. And so I'm going to just light this up. I'll go ahead and smudge this up. So again, no right or wrong way to smudge. In my teachings, we always use matches. We never put a lighter on the flame. And so even when, if we do have a lighter and that's all we have, we'll light one of the sticks and then we'll light the smudge, but we never put actually the lighter directly on because it's actually not meant to be withdrawn from the earth that way. Those are just my teachings. So again, everybody might have different teachings. I always fan it with my hand or a feather. I was gifted a beautiful eagle feather, but I didn't want to bring it out just because cats. And so I tend to keep those feathers that I have very guarded because my cats are very playful. But of course, smudging your hand with your fanning it with your hand, you never want to blow on it because your breath is your life and your life is precious and you don't waste that for anybody. So let's smudge. I'm going to just clean my hands because everything that I'm carrying, I just want to get rid of it. I was in a very good place when I came back, and it's funny, as soon as you're in the city, all this stuff starts to stick to you, and as soon as I open my email, I'm like, oh no, there's so much stuff, and then all of the praying and all of the meditation and all of the stuff that I had, worked through just started to pile back on, and I'm like, no, I just got rid of this. But, so I want to get rid of stuff. So anything that I'm carrying, I want to get rid of. I'm going to bring the smoke over my body 4 times to cleanse my body. Smudge my mind so I can think clearly and learn from every person that crosses my path, so I can be open-minded and never rigid with my thinking. Smudge my eyes so I can see clearly, see all of the beauty that surrounds me. I'm very thankful for my vision this lifetime, but also so I can see the unseen. Smudge my ears so I can be open to hear all of the messages Creator sends me. To remind myself we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. I smudge my nose so I can smell danger and cookies. Or one of my elders said nature, which I think is an awesome thing to smell. I smudge my mouth so I speak only true and kind words that are helpful and benefit mankind. I always ask myself, is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is it respectful? If it's none of those things, don't say it, don't do it. smudge my throat because I'm very thankful for my voice this lifetime, so I can continue to give voice to the voiceless and also honor my own voice. I smudge my lungs so I breathe good, clean air, honoring the sacred breath that we all share. Smudge my heart so I remember to be kind and compassionate and show unconditional love to all those that cross my path, my family, my friends, acquaintances, and all my relations. Smudge my belly button because I'm very thankful for my spirit this lifetime. This is where we're connected before we come into this world, so that's where our spirit is. Smudge my stomach so all of the food that I eat this day will nourish my body. Smudge my womanhood because I'm very thankful to be a woman and a mother in this time. As a two-spirit woman, I carry both that masculine and feminine energy in an outward way. We're all a balance of masculine and feminine energy, and it's really about honoring and respecting that. I smudge my shoulders and my back so I can carry all of the responsibilities Creator's gift to me with grace and humility. I smudge my arms and my hands so I can do the good work that Creator's put me here to do. I smudge my legs so I can walk this red road in a good way. And then I smudge my feet so I stay grounded and connected to Mother Earth, treading lightly upon her and honoring her with every step. And then if there's anywhere else in your body you need a little extra help, a little extra healing, a little extra love. So my knee, both of them actually give me some grief. So I'm going to smudge them to bring healing to my beautiful knees. Smudge my hips to bring healing to my hips after the 4 hip surgeries. And to my little middle back. I have something going on back there. But looking forward to going for healing in the next few weeks to deal with that. And then if there's anyone you want to send love or appreciation, or just you want to send this gentleness to them, you just hold them in your heart and you bring that smoke to them. You can also pray for people by laying tobacco out for them. And that's kind of been a virtual practice where people, instead of gifting tobacco, they're actually laying tobacco down for people if it's like a Zoom meeting. So that's a gift as well, because those prayers are still staying in the ground, in the earth, for whoever you're gifting that tobacco to. And then when you're all done, you can say Miigwech, or hi, or merci, or gratia, or shia, or Dankeschön, or however you say thank you in your language, because your language is important. It's a part of you. It's the way that you speak to your ancestors. And so even if you only know a few things in your language, it's important. I'm starting to learn a few more things day by day. My goal is to hopefully learn a bit more, but the more I learn about language, it's very flat. So there's a lot more intricacies within traditional Indigenous language, because it was the relationships that we had with those things. It wasn't just like, this is a chair. It was, this is the thing that we sit in that supports us. And so we lose a lot when you were just translating word to word versus that entrenchment in that language. And so I hope to learn that. I hope to learn the meanings and the deeper spirit and the deeper connection we have to those words, not just words themselves. But unfortunately, with colonization, a lot of our languages were taken from us. And so to get back those true meanings and those true relationships and the true depth of those languages, it has been a challenge. And so I'm going to pray for my languages as well. So it's really been in my heart and on my mind, as has been ritual. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to sing a song. So the song I'm going to share, this is a song that I brought forward that kind of came through me. I don't feel like I brought it. I don't feel like I wrote it, because it just kind of came through me. And this is the Chickadee Song. And to me, this is a children's song. This is a perfect children's song, because it's the chickadee calling out and you're calling back. So normally I do it as a call and response, but I don't have anybody here to call and respond with me. And my kids they're teenagers. They don't want to hang out with me. I'm not cool anymore. So I'm going to sing it all the way through. But usually when I share it in crowds, we do it as a call and a response. And so this is the Chickadee Song, which teaches us to listen twice as much as we speak. It teaches us to honor that relationship of conversation and to really acknowledge each other's voices and really deeply listen, because you can hear what someone's saying, but sometimes you don't take the time to truly listen. And so it teaches us just to slow down and be in that moment, be in those conversations, as the chickadee is with itself and with each other. So one chickadee will say, chickadee, dee, 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 and then you'll hear a tiny pause while the other one processes and then responds, cheeseburger. I was listening to the cheeseburger birds all weekend and it was beautiful. I just love them. They have so much joy, and this is the time of year that we're their voices change a little bit, so they're not as like high pitched as they are in the springtime. They're more so, but they're making adorable sounds. But they reminded me just to stop and to listen. And so yes, this is the Chickadee Song. I wanted to actually share the water song, but I'm going to share it a little differently this week. I'm actually going to share it with Rattle, because I have two lovely rattles that I made, actually technically three, but one I gifted to an elder actually requested of me, and if an elder asks you to do something, you do it. So, 1 second, I'll grab my lovely rattles. One of them is a little extra shiny, because I accidentally put a little too much Mod Podge on it, so I'll be lacquering that later, but really shiny. The way it's supposed to look. Actually, that one's pretty shiny too, but it's got quite a bit on it. So this one actually is made out of muskox. So I got a whole bunch of muskox to refinish a drum for the Korean Society here in the Korean Cultural Society. So they have one of those really, really big Korean drums, the one that they play with like the big sticks. And so I needed a hide that was going to be durable enough to be able to handle it, to be able to take care of it, and to be able to handle that pressure on a constant basis. And so, yeah, I made it with muskox, and it sounded incredible. So when I first got it, it had like that fake Remo skin, which isn't actually a skin. And so of course it snapped right away. But yeah, with the real skin on it, it was just, it had a voice, it had a presence, it had a spirit. And that hide was crazy, crazy thick. And so, yeah, I had some extra from the edges. So not enough to make another drum out of, but enough that I was able to make a rattle. And so I thought I would give it a try. So that is that muskox rattle, which is why it's so dark. And so the next one, this one I made out of elk. And yeah, it's a little bit lighter. It's a lot a bit lighter, and it's just really, really lovely. And I'm going to be posting some workshops probably tonight or tomorrow. And so I'm really excited to be able to share with people. COVID restrictions are going to be in place, and so we'll either need like vaccine certificates. I know they're not calling it a vaccine passport in Alberta, but that's exactly what it is. Or just a proof of a rapid test in the last day, because there's people who can't get vaccinated because of the ingredients that are actually in the vaccines. It's not that they don't want to get vaccinated, they're not an anti-vaxxer, they just are unable to because the vaccine will kill them faster than COVID. Myself, I am in that category, so I am allergic to different weird things like emulsifiers and the suspensions that kind of like hold things in vaccines. And not all vaccines have done them, but there's a few that I am allergic to, just like things like injectable things like Depo-Provera, which is an injectable birth control. It almost shut down my lungs when I was actually getting injections of that. So it was a bad time. So, and so, yeah, I just really got to be careful what I put into my body. And it's not that I don't want to get the vaccine. It's that it could be detrimental to my health. So, yeah. So I always get a rapid test before I do anything, just so I know that I'm healthy and I'm safe and I'm not going to hurt anyone. And of course, I'm always masking up. But yeah. On that note, we're going to sing the water song. We're going to sing a rattle. And so the rattle is, it's like that sound in the springtime when all of the ice is crackling and melting away and the water and rain is starting to come back to the earth and the water is beginning to flow again. And so it teaches us about like renewal and rebirth, but also about healing and washing away things, and the way that that rain sounds, and the way that that river sounds, and the way that the ocean sounds when it's cracking and pushing and pulling things around, and also our connection to beautiful grandmother moon. And so, yeah, just when we hear the rattle, it does sound a little bit like that ice cracking. It does sound a little bit like the rain coming down, especially when there's a whole bunch of people using rattles. And it does sound a little bit like that ocean crashing or that river flowing. And so this is why it's a gift. And oftentimes we will put like shells or different kinds of river rocks into the rattle so that it does keep that essence of that river or essence of that ocean. And so the song that I'm going to share with you is the water song. And the water song, when I heard it, I thought it was a rain song because, of course, my name is She Who Sings and Dances with Spirits in a Storm, or people have just always called me Stormy my whole life, or Storm Song or Storm Shadow Song, because that's just who I am. But I just have that affinity for rain and for storms and for that huge chaos and that craziness that it brings. My cousin, she hears the river when she hears this song because she's always been around the river. And then my other cousin, who lives in Vancouver, she learned it out there, and so she can hear the ocean when she hears the song. So everybody's going to hear something a little bit different, but you're going to hear that ebb and flow of water throughout this song. And so there are two parts. There's the strong part. Oops, I should have shut that off a while ago, hey? Whoops. Okay, I really gotta get better about that. So there's two parts. The gentle part, which is the rain coming down, or the water flowing in the river, or the waves rocking back and forth very gently. And then there's the strong part of the song, which is like that thunder or that lightning, or rapids and a huge waterfall, or the waves crashing. And so you might hear either of them, or a combination of all of them. But no matter what, you're gonna have the rain. And so the first part, the gentle part, is Wishita do ya do ya, wishita do ya day. Then the second part is Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya, Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey. So we're going to sing that through, each of them 4 times, and then a whole thing 4 times around. So yes, please do sing along at home. If you have a rattle, awesome. If you have a drum, what you're going to want to do is you're going to hit the, here, I will show you with the drum. So if you're playing along at home, for Wishita do ya, you're gonna Wishita do ya, Wishita do ya day. For the stronger part, Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya, Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey. So that's the second part. So, but I haven't used a rattle in a while, so I might be a little out of rhythm, but we'll see how it goes. And this song always makes me really thirsty. Here we go. Wishita do ya, Wishita do ya day. 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 Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya, Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey. 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 Wishita do ya, Wishita do ya day. 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 Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya, Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey. 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 Wishita do ya, Wishita do ya day. 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 Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya, Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey. Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya, Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey. Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya, Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey. Wishat-na-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya, Wishat-na-ya, hey. Do ya, Wishita do ya day. Wishita do ya, Wishita do ya day. We should all do ya, do ya, do ya. We should all do ya day. We should all do ya, do ya, do ya. We should all do ya day. We shot nay ya, hey ya, hey ya. We shot nay ya, hey ya, hey. We shot nay ya, hey ya, hey ya. We shot nay ya, hey ya, hey. We shot nay ya, hey ya, hey ya. We shot nay ya, hey ya, hey. We shot nay ya, hey ya, hey ya. We shot nay ya, hey ya, hey. We should all do ya, do ya, do ya. We should all do ya day. We do ya, do ya, do ya. We should all do ya day. Full. The squirrels or chipmunks. I wasn't quite sure who was making all that noise at me. I'm pretty sure it was a chipmunk though. But they were really guiding me on that vision quest, and so were the different birds. And what was really amazing is, as we were sitting in the campsite, I was on my own by the sacred fire, and we could hear, well, the first night it was just a big owl. I'm pretty sure it was a horned owl. I'm not quite sure what kind it was. It was just big and brown. So we could hear it off in the distance. It sounded like it was quite a ways away, just whoo, 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 whoo. It was amazing. And then I felt like a little bit of wind on my face, but not like the wind, because I didn't hear it rustling through the tree, so I knew it wasn't the wind. And then I looked up in the tree, and there was these big eyes and this big brown body looking at me, and he didn't say a word. The owl didn't say a word, just stared at me. And it reminded me of that time that I needed for that quiet reflection. In my life, I'm always busy. I feel like I'm doing at least 5 or 6 things every day. I'm going from place to place, or taking the kids to different places, or performing or presenting, or checking like a million emails in a day. So it reminded me that sometimes you do need to slow down for that quiet reflection. And then the next night, we heard a screech owl, and again, after like the moon was really, really high in the sky, and then all of a sudden, I didn't hear anything. I just felt like something staring at me, and I looked up, and this little itty thing is in a tree, just staring down at me, and I'm like, it didn't say a word. You could hear it really loudly everywhere else, but as soon as it came into camp, it was silent. And so that was that other reminder of that silent reflection that we do need in a day, that I do need. And my fast was more like a break. It was the break that I needed to recharge my batteries. And so I'm so thankful and humbled, and I feel so grounded. And the bats at night were amazing, and just the moon was just breathtaking, and she teaches us so much. I think it's important to just stop and get out on the land, especially bringing our kids out onto the land. I need to do that again soon before it gets too cold. We need to go hiking, because the land teaches us so much about ourselves. It has so many lessons and so many stories for us, and it's such a gift to be able to be out in the land. So I'm going to take my kids out into the wilderness, and we're going to go camping, winter camping, and they're going to hate me. It's going to be great. No, maybe not. It was quite cold at night, and I didn't like it. So, but I was really just captured by that relationship that we have with nature, and so it was just a gift to be able to hear those things and listen and have those reminders. And so I want to share the Creator Song, because we are all part of creation. We're not above it or below it, but we're part of it. And so, push that out of the way. So this is the Creator Song. Este me contawino, dice coco tawino, wayo heyo hawayo, wayo heyo hawayo. Wayo heyo hawayo, wayo heyo hawayo, wayo heyo hawayo, wayo heyo hawayo. tawino, espeme ko tawino, wayo heyo ha wayo, 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 wayo heyo tawino. So I wanted to share a couple of women's songs before we go today. So I'm going to definitely share the Strong Woman song and also the Women's Warrior song. That's really been top of mind just as we're coming up to, of course, the Valentine's Day. That's next year. The Sisters in Spirit, which is October 4th, but also the Truth and Reconciliation Day. It's really to acknowledge those families that have lost so much, and that warrior spirit that we still carry forward, that strength of our heart medicine, that strength of coming together as a community. And even though we've had atrocious things happen to us as Indigenous people, we're still here. So it's that reminder of strength, that reminder of, being gentle with yourself, but also, with family members, with people in our community. Collateral violence is a huge issue, but we can get through that if we recognize that it's a tool of oppression. So stop doing it, because you're just oppressing yourself as well as everybody else. So this song is really about reclaiming your strength, reclaiming your power as a woman, and that sacredness of women, and that feminine energy that's within each and every one of us. So this was originally the Turtle song, and when we sing it, it's actually an Cree song, so it's not Ojibwe, it's not Cree, it's Cree. So, like me, in it, it's honoring the turtle, which and Grandmother Moon, because when we look at the turtle and Grandmother Moon, 13 bumps on the turtle's back, just like the 13 moons in a year, and 28 ridges along the outside, just like the 28 days in a moon cycle, which is 28 days, just like our moon cycle, just like our moon time. And so it's that reminder of that sacred feminine that's all around us, and that pulse that Mother Earth has, and that teaches us to really honor that feminine energy, and to honor those cycles of nature and those cycles of life, to honor water, because water is life. Without water, there'd be no life. And being on a fast and not being able to have water, the moment I had cold water for the first time, I was like, this is the best thing ever. Oh my gosh. I was so thankful and so humbled to know every time I have a sip of water, I say thank you to those water spirits, because they nourish us so much, and I'm so thankful and humbled. And so, yeah, this is the Strong Woman song. Oh, and when I sing it with heartbeat, which is a women's beat or an honor beat, and I go a little bit higher every time to symbolize that we're rising above together. sip of water because I love it so much. I really do appreciate water. So the next song is actually from the West Coast, and I wish I knew all of the story behind it. So my friend Stephanie always had a beautiful way of describing it, and who it was through and who it was from. But this is the Women's Warrior Song, and it's really become an anthem for the murdered, missing Indigenous women out on East Hastings and along the Highway of Tears. But it's really just become universal across Canada for coming together as warriors, and what a warrior spirit is. It's not necessarily the person who is like fighting on the front lines, but it's the person who's standing up for what's right, and who is defending their family, and who's keeping the stories alive, and who's striving for justice each and every day, and who just gets out of bed. Sometimes simply getting out of bed and getting dressed and going to the grocery store, that can be a warrior, because you're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of other people. So that's important. And so when I sing this, is for all of the warriors out there, for all of the warriors in our community, the gentle warriors that when someone is missing from our community, they step into those roles. They help to strive for justice. They help support those families. Those are truly warriors. The ones that take on responsibilities that aren't theirs, those are warriors. People who take on children, whether they be their grandchildren because their daughter has gone missing or has been murdered, or whether they be other people's children because you know that someone has to be there for them. Those are warriors, and they're the ones that stand up for what's right and make the difference in their community. So this is the Women's Warrior Song, which is Salish. I'm going to share a Thunderbird song because it's really been on my mind lately. When I was out there the first night, the wind was so incredibly strong, and the wind was so warm, and it was like we could feel the summer passing, and we could feel it transitioning into fall, like because equinox is today. Happy equinox. But it really is, the winds have changed. Truly it is. And we can kind of feel that. And I think everybody's felt it within their spirit. They feel very unsettled, and they're not quite sure why. And then those winds, when they hit you, you're like, oh, this is because there's a lot of changes coming. And so it's just acknowledging that change isn't necessarily a bad thing. Change is important. And sometimes that chaos brings creation, and that's important to know too. And so sometimes some of the worst things that happen to us, they happen for the best reasons, and that's truly what the Thunderbird teaches us. And it also teaches us don't get stuck in ruts, or else eventually it's going to get fed up with us and just kick us in the butt and put us on the path that we need to be on. And that's truly what happened to me. The Thunderbird just got fed up with me and hit me with a truck, literally, and put me on the path that I'm on now. So even though, yeah, it sucked to get hit by a truck, without that, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sharing. I wouldn't be, sharing my culture and creating beautiful art and singing my songs and sharing my stories and, you know, being really entrenched in ceremony the way that I am. And so even though it sucked, it put me exactly where we needed to be. So I'm so, so thankful. And even though I've had 4 hip surgeries, every surgery told me to slow down and it taught me something different. So it's really about acknowledging those differences. And those things that every lesson teaches us, every person teaches us something. We just have to take the time to learn and to listen. And so, yeah, that's what this song is. This is the Thunderbird song, all about change. And I'm going to share one last song to wish everybody a good evening. Also, just to help everybody with their path this week. This is just to guide you along. This is the traveling song. This is the way I like to say goodbye. Usually it was a Thunderbird song because it's those winds that push us forward that I like to say goodbye. But when this song came back to me, it was just such a gift because when I learned it originally from my elder, Sharon Prue Turner, and I can always hear her voice singing with me when I sing this song. But it was really a going home song, the way that teaches us that home is where we make it, and you know, to trust that our path will always lead us where we need to, but to enjoy the journey. So when we sing it, it's so that people can get home safe. It's so that we can find the path to our elders and to the place that we need to be able to share and to be able to acknowledge those teachings, but also the path to our own selves, the path to our own being. But it also acknowledges that all paths lead home, and home is where we make it. Home is right here in our heart. And so we adopt our friends sometimes as family, and home is where we create it. So it reminds us that we have that ability, we have that strength, and we have those connections to be able to create our home. But we manifest that ourselves, and that's up to us. And so this is the going home song, or the traveling song. And I just, of course, always thank Yolanda and Ashley for bringing this home to me. And I love it when songs come home, because you know that you're on the right path. And sometimes they come to you in the most interesting and beautiful ways. And so I'm very, very thankful and humbled for this song. And so this is a traveling song, also on Anishinaabe. which, thank you so much for joining me. I'm just very thankful and humbled to be able to share every week. And yeah, I've only missed 1 week since last April, which I think is pretty amazing. But I'm just really thankful to be able to be here, to be able to share. And please, if you have any questions or yeah, please let me know. Thank you again for everyone to join me. Please do share these teachings. These are the more public teachings, so they're available to everyone. The songs that I share are community songs, so they are available to everyone. And I think that is so important to just acknowledge where they've come from before you share them. And that's truly what the difference between appropriation and appreciation is you appreciate where they've come from. You appreciate the people who've shared them, the people who've carried them, and those hardships that we've had to endure to bring them here. And that's truly what we need to do to heal, is to learn those truths and to understand how important it is to deeply connect with the history of those songs as well as the teachings behind them. So again, Gwitch everyone, hi, and thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you next week. Yeah, I'm very, very excited to share again next week, and sending all my love and appreciation. Hi everyone. Good night. Love you.